Hey, what's going on, my friends, and welcome to the Full-Time Purpose YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today's video is going to discuss the pros and cons of both one-on-one coaching and group coaching. Regardless, they're both fantastic careers, but depending on where you are at in your business and what your goals are and what your natural, your personality will depend on which is best for you. And I can tell you, I speak from experience. I've done a lot of one-on-one coaching, years and years of it, and I've done a lot of group coaching. And they're both amazing, that you really can't go wrong, but there are some very key differences that'll be very relevant to you, again, depending on where you are in your business. But my goal for you is to coach, to work with people, to share your magic. And if you're on the fence about which way to go, or maybe you feel kind of stuck in your business and you're thinking about transitioning, this video is going to help give you that clarity. We'll start with one-on-one coaching. So some of the benefits, the pros of one-on-one coaching is you can start now. You don't need anything. You don't need credentials. You really don't need anything except maybe a phone and the courage, which it requires a decent amount of courage to put yourself out there as a coach. Most of you, if you were to make a post right now on your personal Facebook page, hey, by the way, I'm doing coaching now. This is kind of some of the things I can help you with. If you're interested, DM me or send me a message. All of you right now could probably get a couple of clients from your social circle. So you don't need anything. You don't need a website. You really need a phone and a simple way of putting yourself out there. Number two, I kind of already mentioned, you don't need equipment. With group coaching, it does help to have some software. There's just more involved in group coaching, but one-on-one coaching, I literally used to do one-on-one coaching when I was living in an RV and I was traveling all around the country. I would do them. I would do the calls in my car a lot of the time. I would leave because I had a family. I'd leave the little RV trailer and I'd go to work. And going to work usually for me meant parking in kind of a cool area where I could see the ocean. I was in San Diego at one of the times I was coaching, and I just sit there with my phone and like my notebook and just talk to cool ass people from all over the world. You can do it anywhere. You also make a pretty good hourly rate. It's comparable to doctors, lawyers. I used to personally like doing 30-minute sessions because it kind of helped me have a higher hourly rate. So imagine you charge $150 per session. That's not that expensive for coaches. My friend Heather, she charges like $4,000 a month for like 4 calls, like $1,000 a session she charges. We're talking 150 bucks. That's something any of you can charge, even if you're brand spanking new. But I used to do 30-minute sessions. Not sure if I mentioned that, but $150 a session really is $300 per hour. That's a huge hourly rate. That's more than a lot of lawyers and doctors and people who have gone to college for 8 to 10 years. You could come out of the gate with your little phone parked in your car, making more than a lawyer. If you're looking to really commit and start a whole new career with being a coach and that kind of thing, then one-on-one coaching will offer you phenomenal insight. Parallel to me doing one-on-one coaching, I also was growing a YouTube channel and a newsletter, and I had my different social media accounts I was trying to grow. And one of the things that really gave me the clarity and the real raw intel of what my people, what my following, what my audience, what my clients were struggling with. I learned about their deepest fears. You start to see themes very quickly, their hopes, their dreams, the very common problems. So I really got to know the people I was working with on a very deep and accelerated way, talking to people. And one-on-one coaching is just a fantastic way to really master your craft. It's really a good way to experiment, to try different techniques, and especially also with sales. If you're going to be a successful coach, you have to know how to sell. The reality is people are not going to just spend a lot of money on coaching sessions from a flashy website. It doesn't work that way. They're investing potentially thousands of dollars with you, and they're gonna want to talk to you. At the very least, talk to somebody on your team. Someone's going to have to do sales. It's the reality of it. And in the beginning, you might not be good at sales, obviously, but it's a great time. So once you get good at sales, you can really scale your business. You can potentially move on to group coaching if you want, where you can make a lot more money. Now, with all that said, there are some drawbacks to one-on-one coaching. I myself got to the point where I had 50 clients one-on-one coaching, and I was making a lot of money. And I was still working a lot less hours than a normal person would. I was doing 30-minute, even 15-minute sessions. And some of the clients I wasn't even talking to every week. So really, I don't remember the exact hours, but it was still like what most of you would consider like a pretty relaxed career. But as a lot of you know, if you're already doing one-on-one coaching, you know that it takes a lot of energy per unit of time. When you're really present with somebody and really listening to someone share about heavier stuff that they're going through or they've gone through, and you're just there with you're holding space, even over the phone, it requires a lot of energy. Okay, so there comes a point where you feel kind of burnt out and you feel kind of drained, and you also feel like you're kind of in a box. And then at that point, it's a great time to consider group coaching. But anyway, I digress. Some of the cons is you can't scale. You can't scale a one-on-one coaching. You can only have so many clients. Again, I had 50 clients at one point. And what I found is that once I got to a certain threshold, unfortunately for them, the clients, the quality of coaching diminished big time. I was just too scattered. I had too many clients. I couldn't really put my heart and soul into every single one of my clients. I was forgetting their names. I was like mixing them up, and I could just tell like something's not right here. It also became kind of repetitive. I found myself answering the same questions, listening to the same stories, helping solve the same problems time and time again. And it becomes just feels inefficient. It reminds me when I was a personal trainer, and I would take 8 clients in a row, which sounds good, I was booked up, but I'd take them through almost the same workout over and over again. I'd have to re-explain, this is how you do this, this lift, this exercise, and I had to get on my knees and do push-ups and show them, and over. It just felt like I came to a point. There was a time when this felt amazing. It was so appropriate and enjoyable. But there came a point where I felt like this is like an inefficient usage of my time. In one-on-one coaching, it can be draining. Even again, when I was busy, I'd have sometimes 6 to 8 clients, not personal training, mind you. Even when I was doing a spiritual coaching, 6 to 8 clients in a row, back to back. Now, financially, that's good. If I was getting a couple $100 a session, whatever, I forgot what I charge exactly, but times 30 minutes, that's over $1,000, a couple $1,000 maybe right there for 8 clients in a row, which only took me 4 hours. Very short work day. I did it from the privacy of my own home or my own car, as I mentioned. It was still an enjoyable thing to help people at a very deep level, but it was draining. I would be tanked after that. And I was too drained to do anything else within my business. All I could really do was coach, because I had a personal life. Like you, I have children, I have a wife, and it became very draining. Now let's move on to group coaching. So group coaching, opposed to one-on-one coaching, is extremely scalable. Again, you can only have so many one-on-one clients before your time or your energy is maxed out. It's likely gonna be your energy that is maxed out before your time, but regardless, there are only so many hours in a day, right? But the reason group coaching works is for obvious reasons. Imagine having 50 clients and having to schedule all those people and all the different nuances and situations that go into that. Out of 50 clients, if you have 50 clients in a week, there's a good chance that 8 of them are going to need to reschedule. 5 of them aren't going to make it. They're going to be emailing you saying, hey, what's the homework or what's this? And there's just a lot of things to manage in addition to the exhaustion of working with so many clients. But this is you take all of that and you work with them at one time. Maybe it's when I do my group coaching, that's what I do now. It's usually an hour to an hour and a half long, with sometimes up to 100 people at one time. And I serve them, and they're not they're not walking away dissatisfied. It's like I see the comments because I'll post a replay in this group we have, and people they're loving it. And I know that because I've been doing this for many years. People love the group coaching. They get a lot out of it, and you can serve a lot of people in one little hour and a half, 2 hour session per week. I also find it, interestingly enough, opposed to one-on-one coaching, which can be kind of draining and repetitive after a while. Not in the beginning, but after a while. Group coaching is actually energizing. This is something I've just noticed in all different areas of my life anytime I started to work with a group. And the first time for me is when I transitioned from one-on-one personal training to boot camp style training, where I'd work with like 10 or 15 clients at a time. I found that when I stepped in front of that group of people, I came alive. I felt super invigorated and energized, and like the wind was at my back. I felt more articulate. I felt like I was able to draw energy from the group. So my problem after like after running one of my coaching sessions, even online, isn't that I'm drained. It's that I'm too wound up. You can ask my family. I have singing bowls right over there that I'll play them to like calm down. I had this other thing I had to stand on, this like ancient Chinese acupressure thing where I stand on these nails. It hurts, but I'm so wound up, so invigorated after group coaching that I literally have to chill out for a couple of hours because I feel so amazing. And in my experience, hands down, group coaching delivers way better results, far superior results. In fact, like I'm doing this, one of the group coaching I do now is for entrepreneurs like you guys. And a lot of times, you know, they'll have like maybe 50 or so people come on, 50 to 100 people, and I'll maybe only answer about 20 or 25 different people's questions, sometimes more, sometimes less. But other people get a lot out of it because other folks will ask questions they didn't even know they had. Or they'll hear an answer and it'll feel like I'm speaking directly to them, even though they didn't ask the question. When you show up to like a live group coaching session, I can only observe and speculate. I have no science to validate this, but it seems as if you are like stepping into this container, this energy bubble where there is where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And there's just this container where there's just it's like all of our energies kind of combined, the coach and all the people there, and we bring about this accelerated transformation, awareness, breakthroughs. And a lot of it has nothing to do with you, nothing to do with me as the coach. It's just the people coming together, banding together, saying, listen, I'm showing up, I'm investing in myself, I'm doing the work, I'm ready, I'm open, let's get down and dirty, let's get into it. And when you have 20-something people, or even like 5 or 10 people doing that, it creates this energy that's bigger, again, more powerful than just the sum of its parts. And it's beautiful, and therefore the results are far superior. There's also so many other little healing opportunities. For example, just for a lot of people, just raising their hand to ask a question, knowing that they're going to be sort of like on display using Zoom with like 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 other people, that in itself is super uncomfortable for the client, which is good, as you know, as a coach. And it brings things up within them. But it's also beautiful when you have this problem, right? As a client, imagine you have this problem. Maybe a lot of us are ashamed of our problem. We feel bad, we feel like it's only us. And then you got Susie and Sally and Billy and Joey, and they're coming on with the same problem you have. And suddenly the client realizes, oh my God, I thought I was alone. I thought there was something wrong with me. There's not. Apparently, it's a pretty normal thing to deal with insecurity or a doubt or fear or anxiety, whatever it is. And it's just like human beings coming together, and this mastermind effect makes the results, in my experience, way superior. Now, of course, like all things in life, it's not all roses. Let's go over the cons. Let's be real here. It's not perfect. So one of the cons is, and some of you are probably already feeling this, is it can be intimidating. It can be intimidating just to start doing one-on-one coaching. But when it comes down to just you truly entertaining the idea of you hitting, live, and then all of a sudden, boop, 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 10, 15 people show up to this session and they're all watching you. They're all expecting something of you. They've all paid you and now you got to deliver and the pressure's on. It can be very intimidating. It can also just feel intimidating when you really get into like what's required to construct the different systems and softwares and different things you need to uphold and smoothly run a group coaching program. It can just seem like a lot, okay? And that's very common. And the reality is, most of you will feel that to some degree, even if you're a badass one-on-one coach and it truly is time for you to shift. But sometimes it's just not time. It truly might be beyond you at this point if you're brand spanking new. And in my opinion, even though it's so attractive to jump into group coaching, if you're gonna do it right, where you're actually gonna be hooking people up and delivering good results, I really believe you do need a foundation. You'll definitely need a foundation with sales, for one. Just to continually get clients into your program, you're gonna need to know how to do sales calls. Because it wouldn't make sense if you're just learning sales and all of this is brand new and you tell people it's a group coaching program and there's like 2 people in it, it's gonna look a little silly. So you need to be decent enough with your sales to where you can get enough clients in, even a handful, to where you actually have a group to work with. You also need coaching experience. I found that for me, it was always a natural progression. I was a personal trainer. I did that for many years in different sort of settings and circumstances. And eventually there came a point where I just started to feel like, you know what? It's time for me to evolve the way I do things. And then group training came from that. And then the same thing happened years later when I was doing one-on-one coaching and I maxed that out. The same sort of evolution was sort of inspired from within, where I felt like, you know what? I become a damn good coach. And it seems like a waste of my talents to just repeat myself over and over and over. And I'm also feeling kind of burnt out and exhausted. There's gotta be a better way. And then group coaching is the answer to that. You also need a program. One-on-one coaching, and I'll explain what that means. One-on-one coaching, at least for me, I didn't really have a program. I would just literally sort of counsel people. I would counsel people and I would do like intuitive coaching. I would just listen to them. And I'm an intuitive guy, and I was helping them with something that was very, familiar to me, something I had a lot of experience with as it was. And just my advice, just me listening intently and knowing kind of what to say was very worthwhile to my clients. They got a lot out of it just talking to me. Now, if you have like a group of like 20 people online, you can't coach in that same way. Obviously, it would be extremely boring for every single person to wait to talk to you about their life, You gotta wait, sift through 15, 20 people to get to your 5 minutes with the coach. It's not how you do it. With group coaching, it's a different ball game. And you need a program. What you need is a process, an experience-based process you take people through. And what's that process look like? Well, that's up to you to get creative and figure out what you wanna do. My process involves a lot of different things. It involves breath work and QHHT and all these different workshops that I've come up with or learned about or have done. And it's like what you do is you take people through an experience of transformation rather than just talk to them and listen to them like you would do one-on-one coaching. Now, the good thing is creating a program that might feel very intimidating to you, but it doesn't require as much as you think. And I'll give an example. Another thing I do is run these spiritual retreats in Sedona, and there's this workshop we do that's extraordinarily transformative and powerful. And I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you how simple it is. We call it the letting go ceremony. And all it is I basically say, hey guys, listen, we're in a unique opportunity right now where you're around a lot of people who don't judge you and genuinely want the best for you and support you. And in that circumstance, you can really let something go. You can really speak from your core, from your gut, from your heart, and let go of something that's been weighing you down. What is that thing? And then I'll give an example. We always have something, and I'll share something. And I'll make it real to where it's actually vulnerable. And I could be sharing about some sort of thing I'm carrying around from childhood or something. And I'll sometimes cry a little bit. And then we just take turns. And Susie and Sally and Billy, they all share something they've been holding on to. And just voicing something like that is so cathartic. So usually at least 40 to 50% of the people end up in tears. Tears of release, tears of transformation, tears of oh my God, I've unburdened myself. I've been carrying this around my whole life. It's gone. They feel it. And anyway, it's this crazy process that's mind-blowing. And all it is saying, hey, just talk about real quick in 2 minutes something you're holding on to. There's no wizardry. There's no masterful certification. It's nothing like that. So your program, because it involves a group of people, it can be a lot more basic than you might think. It's the people that make these workshops extraordinarily powerful. But you need something like that. There needs to be some type of structure. And you do need some systems in place. For example, some of the systems you need is an email software where you can email all your clients at one time. It's good to have a community where the clients can meet. That could be something as simple as Facebook, but someone's going to have to manage that community and make sure everyone's getting along fine. Sometimes you get a client in there that's just being annoying or spammy or confrontational, or they're triggered. They go in there and they start working the whole group up, and you need to be on top of that. You need to have rules. You need to again, that's one element of it. You need to know how to work Zoom or some kind of online system where you're able to actually work with people digitally all at one time. Now beyond that, there's not much really you need, but you do need it's not just you and your phone in your car anymore. You see, you really need to have some of these systems in place. Now I know a lot of you are probably, after hearing this spiel, thinking I have a bias towards group coaching, and partially you're right, honestly, but it's not for everybody. And I'm going to basically share with you right now from my little notebook here, just sort of raw, off the cuff, here's what I think you should do if you're in this scenario. I'm going to say for the one-on-one people, I think it's fantastic if you're a new coach. I would definitely not jump into all this group coaching if you're new. And I know a lot of you watching this channel probably are new. Some of you watching are probably just figuring warming up to the idea of being a coach and going through all the different emotional, processing involved of just coming to terms with you being a coach. And if that's you, jumping into this it's just not time. The next thing I'm going to say about one-on-one coaching comes from one of my favorite books of all time by Robert Greene called Mastery. And he talks about this, what he calls the Apprenticeship Phase. And the book basically talks about people like Charles Darwin, Van Gogh, all these different people Thomas Edison, people that have become extraordinarily successful. And he talks about how they didn't just become like that overnight. There was a long up and down journey to get to this level of mastery that the world sees. And you could look at when you're running your multi-six-figure group coaching program, only working once a week, that's your mastery. But you can't just jump into that. Nobody does. And Robert Greene talks about this apprenticeship phase, this phase when you're just learning and doing your craft. Day after day after day after day after day. You might not be good, with the sales. You might not feel confident with your coaching. You might not really even know what works or doesn't work. And one-on-one coaching is an amazing, in my opinion, essential phase that will give way to this eventually. But you gotta go through your own version of the apprenticeship phase when you're trying out different techniques. You're seeing what works and what doesn't work, who you like to work with and who you don't like to work with. You're learning how to do sales calls. You're building up your following online so you can actually have tons of clients coming in. This is an essential part. And the most important thing about one-on-one coaching, what's going to help you do is, really come to know who you're working with. Know the problems that keep them awake at night that they don't really like to talk about, but you learn is there. And then you learn that's what I need to address. Because if you can address that, everything on the surface changes. But the only way to have that deep, empathetic awareness and experience and wisdom is from actually getting your hands dirty and working with people. And when you do one-on-one coaching, you can really accelerate that process of building and establishing your foundation and building your confidence and your experience as a coach. And once you have that, then you could go extremely far. You can do group coaching, you can run retreats like I do, you can do a lot of different things, but you're not gonna do any of these other higher level things well if you don't have your roots. And those of you who should do group coaching are those who are already doing one-on-one coaching and you're feeling a little bit burnt out. It reminds me of this. I remember when I was a personal trainer, I started to have this I had golfer's elbow in both elbows. And I was like 27 years old, really young guy. I was in shape, I ate healthy. And all of a sudden, like golfer's elbow is a pretty sort of a painful thing to have. I had these weird braces I had to wear on both elbows. And to have it in not one, but two elbows, and I didn't golf or anything, it was like, what the hell is going on with me? And the reason it happened for me, it was because I was handing off dumbbells. When I was a trainer, I had a lot of one-on-one clients. I was successful, but my body was not able to keep up with the repetitive handing people of dumbbells. And for me, that was my body giving me a sign saying it's time to evolve, time to do this differently. But I was comfortable. I felt very secure doing the one-on-one client. I was a good trainer. I was making good money. My body was falling apart, but I was safe. I was comfortable. It was easy. But life is not about that. Life is not about reaching the top of the mountain and pitching your tent and just chilling. No, it's about growth, continued growth. And it was like my body was saying, you can help more people in a more effective way. And that's what I started doing. I eventually hired people to help me and then quickly transitioned to group training. And I just liked it better because of all the things I said. There's more money, it's more scalable, better results. It's just a really cool vibe to work with a group of people. But I had to take that jump. So if you're feeling like that, if you're feeling kind of burnt out, overwhelmed, like you're repeating yourself, a little bit unfulfilled, maybe you're getting kind of resentful of your clients because it's no longer fun for you, it's no longer fulfilling for you, it's becoming more of kind of a job. Or maybe you don't have a ton of clients, maybe you're not even burnt out, but you're a damn good coach, you have a decent foundation, and you want to make more money. You want to have a lot more money coming in, and you feel like you have enough experience and a foundation laid that you can do that. In which case, go for the group coaching, because it's, me and my friend Aaron Dowdy, who run this YouTube channel, we teach spiritual entrepreneurs how to create an online business. And we teach a lot of different things. We teach if you're an artist or a healer or a coach, if you want to be a social media influencer, there's so many different ways to make money and help people online. And out of all the different options we teach you, in my opinion, this is the best. It's by far the best. You can make literally like multiple six figures every single month. Think about that. Think about making like $200,000-$300,000 a month. That's possible. And your work involved, it's not just an hour a week, obviously. There's a little bit more to it than that when you get to that level, but it's pretty freaking minimal, maybe a handful of hours a week, and you're making multiple six figures. And not only that, you're not doing it in some bullshit way where you're scamming people. You're literally changing lives by the masses. Okay? It's just an extremely awesome thing. And even if you're a one-on-one coach listening to this, good. Get excited about this, but pay your dues. Lay the foundation. Don't try to just jump into things, in my opinion. But some of you are ready, in which case just have that courage to make the jump. And here's the nice thing about the group coaching is, like anything in life, it's always evolving. You don't have to have your foundation perfect. You don't have to have this proven program that's like 100%, just perfect. No. Every single day that goes by, for the most part, you're like improving, evolving, getting new information, improving, evolving, getting new information, improving, evolving. And it's just this living, breathing thing. And there comes a point where it's just time to start. And real quick, I forgot to mention, my friends, by the way, if you're interested in me helping you create a group coaching, not only a group coaching program that gets really good results, including all the things that go along with building it, but also a group coaching business. That's the kind of coaching I do now. So if you are on the fence, or even want to do one-on-one coaching, if you want to be a coach and want to learn how to grow your business and you want to learn from me and work with me, there's an application down below. This is to get into our full-time purpose coaching program, which is not open at all times of the year, so it may be closed now depending on when you see the video. But if there's an application available right now, you can apply, and then if we think you're a good fit, we'll reach out to you and you can talk to me or someone on my team, and we can see if it's a good fit. So anyways, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or there's things you'd like me to talk about, leave a comment down below. Yeah, I'm kind of coming back to this channel and I'm just doing my best to come up with topics I think you might like. But if there's something I'm not talking about, you want to hear about, you're struggling with, you want to learn about, please leave a comment below. Have an amazing day. See you all next week. Peace.